Hey guys, Timmy here from Formflex Compound, and tonight I was going to work on a panel for on a picture, and I'm going to do some decoupage on this, and I thought I'd just turn on the camera and show you. That's kind of how I'm going to set it up as far as going on the wood. So what you want to do first is I took and I cut this. I was actually going to put a large rabbit in there and it didn't work, so I decided that I would use the smaller stuff. But what you do is you want to paint your mold first, your casting, and you want to paint it a light color. I just choose white because it's easier. And then you want to go around it and make sure that you put decoupage all the way around it. I've done a video on this in the past. I'm not sure if I have showed this several times on a live, but there is also a lot of new people, which we'd like to welcome. And thanks for following our page. And I just made sure that the white paint was completely dry. My casting is completely dry. And I'm just putting this decoupage on here. Normally, I try to use an entire napkin. I usually don't cut pieces out. But since this was such a small piece and I wanted several different colors in it, that's the reason that I did cut the napkin apart. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and lay kind of my pieces. I kind of know you want to take your napkin and you want to make sure that you take all the plies off of it. Like this was a 2-ply napkin, so I took all my plies off, kind of just ripped it where I thought I wanted it. And then what you want to do is you want to take a brush and you want to make sure that you pounce and push all that napkin into all of the detail of the mold, okay? And you can see why I kind of cut this napkin apart, because this is such a delicate piece and I just can't find anything that I liked with the right colors. And I found pieces of this napkin that I really liked. And I'm pushing it up against the side because we're going to do the burn method on this. Okay, so I got another piece here, and I'll show you the napkin that I use. It's a pretty big napkin. And I just want to make sure that I have my decoupage all the way up, my Mod Podge, sorry, all the way up and covering. And you don't want to pick up other little pieces like I just did of the napkin where I ripped it. Well, it won't matter. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and lay this piece in kind of where I want it. I think I want it to go kind of right in here because I want the different colors. And I'm not going to lay that down tight. I'm going to start pouncing it and make sure that I'm getting it in the crevices. If you lay it down tight, what will happen is you'll end up ripping your napkin, okay? And you don't want to do that. And you want to make sure that you get the sides. You can see maybe I need a little Mod Podge underneath that one side there because it's kind of not sticking. So I can just pick it up. Make sure that you keep your brushes separate, because boy, if you pick up the wrong one and then you try and pounce with the wrong brush, you're going to have a gooey mess. So I'm just pouncing, making sure that I'm getting all the sides. There's like right there. And if you maybe don't have enough or something, you can always go back and add a little piece too. Then I want to keep just different colors going because that was kind of, this is the mold. I'll show you it in just a second. It's a redesign mold. And like I said, be sure that you get your sides good. I don't know how far up this one's going to go. I'm going to pick up another piece. And I'm going to do the same thing over. I want to make sure that I'm covering all of the sides. I don't want to go too much overlap. I want the color is what I want. I want all the different colors here. Whoops. You can see right there, I think I poked through it. That's okay though, because you can just go ahead and fix it. You can add just a little piece or your next piece can overlap. And like I said, usually I will use a whole entire napkin, not all these little pieces. Yeah, I'll just cover that right there. So you can see that little tiny hole right there. Nobody else would even know it. But the main thing is about getting your sides, getting that decoupage down into the sides of it. And I'm doing it on this white board so that I hope that it will show up better on camera. That was the whole point of it. So lightly pounce and push it in, and just make sure that you get that covered. And really, if you're working on a surface like this, I would probably maybe I should have just put a piece of like slick paper under it, because you don't want that to stick to that. Okay, so that side's covered. Then we'll go ahead and do this side. And like I said, be sure that you separate your plies when you're doing this. This might be right here. I might just want to cut a small piece and then go up, because this right here is so thin, that's going to be hard to burn. But when you do this, if you take and use waxes and stuff, I believe on the other videos that I showed, I spray mine with a sealer, and then I just take and do waxes on it. It just makes it look so professional, and it's so pretty. I'm trying to decide if I want to cut that there, or if I want to just continue to go and hope for the best. If you're going to overlap, be sure that you stick your Mod Podge on the next piece. I don't want it to overlap that much. You can see how thin that one little piece is there, and I don't want any smooth edges, so I'm going to go ahead and tear this off right here, because I'm going to end up with a smooth edge, and I don't want that. I don't want that piece to go in smooth. Okay, and you can see how easy this is. And this, I mean, it just looks so cool when you're all done. I mean, it basically looks like you've hand painted something. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more here. Make sure your sides, I'm sure I did the sides, your end. And your wax, and that will cover if you didn't do something exactly right. And you can piece this together pretty much however you want to do it. See, I want the different colors in there. And again, here I'm going to end up with a smooth edge. I don't want that smooth edge. I don't mind burning it off, but I don't want that smooth edge on my piece. So let's see, do I have, I could probably squeeze this one in and not end up with a smooth edge. Oh, see what I just did? I stuck the wrong brush in there. That's what you don't want to do. Because now when you go to pounce it, it's going to be all sticky. And it really does make it a lot easier if you're doing this on a piece of paper that's kind of slick or something like that, so that you don't get it stuck, which I'm hoping I didn't. Yeah, I didn't. So there you can see how I have all that laid in, and I'll show you the size of the napkin. I'm going to see if I have some, oops, I thought maybe I had a piece of parchment paper. Here I do. I'm going to lay that on parchment paper because I think it won't stick as much as it does on the wood. This is the napkin that I used right here. Okay, so you can see how big that is, and these are like the little pieces right here that I cut out. I just ripped them out, ripped some off the bottom, some off the sides, because all I wanted was the different colors in it. And that's why I did it this way. Like I said, normally I just pick a napkin, use the whole thing. Now what I'm going to do is just make sure that all my edges are in there pretty good. Doesn't have to be perfect. Like I said, your wax will cover up whatever. Say if you missed a spot on the side, your wax will cover that up. So it's really easy. It's really simple. It's really fun. You can see how quick it is. Then what you want to do is you want to Mod Podge back over this and let it, you know, kind of set. But we're not going to, I'm going to go ahead and burn it. And what I would do is, a lot of times I will take scissors and I'll kind of look at it from the back, and I'll go ahead and clip and cut. This one doesn't have a whole lot to clip, but sometimes you'll have quite a bit on there. And like in here where these, if anybody sews, you want to clip up to there because it makes it a lot easier to burn, because you don't want a lot of black smoke. If you leave a whole lot on there to burn, you're going to end up with a bunch of black smoke. So just cut off what you can. I don't know. I've never had the black smoke. Somebody sent me a picture of what they did, and they had this black smoke all over, and that's the only thing that I could think of. What caused it was that there was so much of the napkin, or she held the flame, I don't know, right over the top of the casting. I'm not really sure, but I'd never experienced that happening before. So I'm pretty sure that it was probably a ton of napkin and it smoked as it was going. So that's pretty good. You don't, it's so simple that you can make it a lot harder than what it is. If you don't think about it and you just do it, it's really easy. And then, you know, you want to be sure that you're safe. Do it over water, or here I'll put a little bit of water in here. You want to do it over like, oh, I don't know, a bowl or something. I'm not really too worried. I've done it a lot and I've never had an issue, but just be sure you're safe. And then just go ahead and let it burn, and it will burn right up to the edges. If I can get this thing to light, there we go. And you can just knock off the little bit of burn stuff. It just kind of knocks off. But really what brings out the beauty of this is once you put wax, or you want to dry brush it or do something, so that all of that texture and the different flowers in there and everything will show up. And like I said, I would seal this probably before you burn it. I just don't want to wait for it to dry. And you don't get near the little bit of the burn stuff. See how easy that is? And it will just burn right up to the casting, right to where you pushed your napkin. You can do it. I love doing it with tissue paper. That's my favorite, is the tissue paper. But I couldn't find anything with small print on the tissue paper flowers that I was looking for. And so I'm going to do this. Man, this thing does not light. There's still a little bit there. Okay. So there's the wreath. And you can see how pretty that is. And once you get your wax on there, that's when it comes to life, okay? So you just want to mod, you know, do your Mod Podge, let it dry. And then do your waxes and you're good to go. And it looks so darn pretty when it's finished. I'll post a picture of this after I put some wax on it. But you can do it either way. You can seal it before you burn it. I think you have better luck when you seal it a little bit before you burn it. Or you can seal it afterwards. Whatever way you want to do it. I don't think there's really any wrong or right way to do it. But you do look like quite the artist when you're done. It looks like you took a whole bunch of time to hand paint this. And I'm just using, this is gloss. This is what I had, so that's the reason I'm using that. But that will dry pretty quickly. And then, like I said, there you go. And that's that. Just make sure you get your edges good. That's all I ever really concerned about. Okay. And the mold that this is that I used, I'm going to show you right here. Oh man, my hand's sticky. Paper towel. And this is a redesign mold that I used right here. And there were the rabbits that I was going to use in it. The rabbits are from this mold as well. And so are the Easter eggs. And this is where I cut this out. I cut this leaf out right here. And I was going to actually, when I was going to do the big rabbit, I was going to use this on the big rabbit. But now that I'm not going to do that because of the panels. And one of the things that's going to go on there too is, if you didn't see the video, I did this. And this was really fun. And this was done with a, you get it from the dollar store and you dust your ceiling fan with it. And I just cut the pieces off of there and did it that way. So anyway, that's all I had to show you. I could, I'll go ahead and do this casting. It's really easy. Just be sure that you lightly cornstarch your mold. Okay. So you just want to put a light dusting of cornstarch in there. And I always turn mine over and kind of smack it because sometimes I use too much cornstarch. It's not that it's bad. You just don't want to take away from the detail in the mold. And then just go ahead and start with a snake-like position. And I just take and push that in. I'm trying to watch and make sure that I stay in the camera here. And I just push it in like so. Really easy, really simple. And I mean, I was telling you, if you have a hard time and you're new to doing castings, or you have a hard time getting something out of a mold, say after you put it in the freezer, my suggestion is that you only do just this. Like when I do this mold, I will fill everything up. I'll do all the bunnies, I'll do both sides. But if you're not experienced, I really suggest, if you don't, if you're having a hard time and you keep breaking it, when you release the sides and then you go to take it out, really what's happening is when you're taking out some of the other molds, you're already breaking the other one. And then just go ahead and take your knife. Keep either your knife or your card. I like the knife. If you watch me, I always talk about that. And don't be afraid to turn your mold. Kind of keeping this, just glide it right across there. I'm not applying any pressure. If you came, you could just pull this right out of my hand. And it's just gliding across the top, okay? You want to make sure that you keep your shadows. You want to clean up all your shadows around there. And then just keep on, oh wait, maybe I missed some leaves right here I didn't even see. Yeah, there is leaves there. And I just, as I pull it with my knife, I push it back in. And you want to make sure that you keep that nice flat back, so that way that when you get ready to apply it to your project, that you have a really nice flat back. And see, you could see where there was a negative space there that needed to come out. But you guys, that's all there is to it. And then I will usually go back over it with my card and just make sure that I have it flat. And you can tell it's pretty flat. There's nothing there. And then just stick it in the freezer. And then you're ready to go. All right, thanks for watching. Be sure, if you know anybody that might enjoy this video, to sprinkle it out. We really do appreciate it. And until the next time, get creative. Thanks. Bye now.